Welcome to the Monday evening masterclass. We are starting tonight with a short talk on a special breath technique, and it is called the Microcosmic Orbit. And it's not just a breath, it's a whole practice. It's a Taoist practice, but it is actually a practice that I first learned years ago from Dr. David Hawkins, who has since passed. And he wrote a book called Power versus Force, and he had this technique in there. And then I learned it again when I was doing Tantra training. And then I revisited it again, another version of it, when I was going through Yin Yoga training. And then I was recently listening to a podcast this weekend with Danica Patrick, you guys. She's that race car driver gal. And she has a podcast. And she brings on really interesting, kind of out there people. And she had this guy come on and he talked about biogeometry, which basically means that throughout the body, throughout our forces, our energetic forces, and all of the layers of who we are, there are mathematical, geometric types of, like, not symbols, but that is how energy moves. So one of the examples of that is the Pisces sign, where the two circles come together and then it shows the little almond, and then you have it becomes a fish. And that is an ancient symbol that goes way back, that is part of that biogeometry. Well, this particular breath technique is also part of that biogeometry, which functions throughout the entire energetic system. So in a lot of these ancient knowledge schools that are out there and thoughts that are out there, like Ayurveda and Chinese medicine and yoga and all these traditions, like the tantric traditions, they have been aware of these techniques for a very long time. So I'm going to go over it. I want to emphasize the fact that the technique that I'm going to teach you is one that I learned in Yin, and I'm going to add a little bit more to it. So one of the things that this guy talked about, I believe his name is Dr. Robert Gilbert. I think that's it. And the tip of the tongue is actually electrical. So, and that is similar to lots of different parts of the body, where certain parts of the body, you have what's called marma points or acupressure points, that when you connect them to another point, you create a force of energy. And it's usually a subtle force, but nonetheless, if you were to continue to hold those 2 points together, you would change your chemistry and your biogeometry within the body, within your energetic body. So it will then eventually have an effect on all the layers of who you are. So it's just like when you're trying to use a mantra, what the mantra does is it replaces old ways of thinking. So if you have ways of thinking that are negative thinking, like constantly finding myself obsessing or ruminating around a particular topic that is just makes me feel toxic inside, negative inside, when that's happening, you can use mantra as a way to break free of it. And in the beginning, it's just like anything, it is a little more challenging. You don't learn to play the piano or swim overnight. You don't do it after a couple of times of practicing. You have to do it again and again and again. So as you do these practices, you will help all of a sudden you'll feel lighter, because you're literally changing your biochemistry within your body, and those neural paths will change. So with a mantra, that's what you're doing. You're shifting out of your old patterning, which is based on life and the impressions that you've taken in, and you're using a mantra to shift out of that, we're going to use this particular technique as a way to help our energy connect and move in a way that helps us gain energy. So basically, this orbit moves up the back channel of the spine. So it's called the governing channel. It moves up, comes around, and then ends at the roof of the mouth. Okay. Back there. Okay. So ends at the roof of the mouth. If you connect the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, you then connect that back governing channel to the front channel. Okay. And that front channel is called the conception channel. Okay. So then that connects and it moves down. Okay. There's more. And I'm gonna just kind of read through this book. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can get it. It's a yin book and it's the complete guide to yin yoga. Not that you want that, but they have this technique in there. They're not giving you the tongue technique. I'm giving you that something that is a little added. I actually learned that in the tantric practices. And then I was listening to this podcast and he reminded me of it. And I thought, oh my God, that is such a powerful technique. I want to teach it to my class and also introduce it to all of the Ayurvedic people who are interested in Ayurveda, because it is something that you can use. So the term microcosmic orbit is actually, it's a Taoist term, but like I said, it is, you can find this practice throughout lots of different practices and wisdoms. All right. And we're activating energy, and it's in preparation for helping to clear that governing channel and then the conception channel. And then it is a way of refilling our energy. It literally is bringing in scattered stray energies. It's like gathering them up. Stray energies then get gathered up and it raises them up. And then you activate the microcosmic orbit, and the reservoirs in that governing vessel channel and the conception meridian are refilled, which means that the energy now is available to all the other meridians and organs. So it is a way of rejuvenating yourself. This is the best way to cultivate health and a long life. It's at the same time, it is actually preparing you for a deeper spiritual practice down the line and understanding. So circulating the energy through the microcosmic can be done at any time. If you're standing in line at the grocery store, if you're wanting to do it during meditation, if you want to do it during your asana practice, when you're holding postures, and even at the beginning of Shavasana, you can do it. Okay, so we are going to start this technique. So you will want to actually sit up tall. If you're on the ground, Robin, you might want to just make sure that you could sit comfortably. So take a block underneath you or sit in a chair. I'm sitting in a chair, but I am not leaning back. I'm not doing that because that slouches and then it's going to kink that central channel, the governing channel. All right. And then we're going to take the tip of the tongue and place it to the roof of the mouth. Close your eyes. And I'm going to guide you through this. So bring some awareness then to your tailbone. And I want you to just notice that back body. So start out there, just bringing awareness to the back body. Feeling the back of the spine. Then feeling the back of the neck and the back of the head. Coming into your body. Good. And then bringing awareness into your front body. So feeling the whole front torso, starting at the pelvis and the pubic bone. Feel that part of your body. Notice your breath there. Notice your breath in your belly. And then bringing that breath and noticing the whole front of the torso into the chest and the heart, the lungs. You might even notice that your shoulders relax. And then feeling into the front of the neck and the face. Good. So then bring your awareness to the front of the body and notice between the navel and the pubic bone, between the two. So right in the middle. The pubic bone is where your base root chakra is located. And the navel is where your second chakra is located. And you want to have your awareness between those two. And this is going to be your beginning point. What's going to happen is you're going to carry your breath from that point between the navel and the pubic bone, move it down, and then it's going to move across the bottom of the pelvic floor, and then it goes up the spine. Okay, so it goes like this, you guys, if you need to open your eyes to see. It starts here between the navel and the pubic bone, right here. It goes down and under and then back and around and comes up over the head. Okay, that's your starting point. That you begin on your inhale, it comes up to where your tongue is connecting at the roof of the mouth, and then exhale, you draw your awareness down back to that point between the navel and the pubic bone. All right, let's do it. So close your eyes again. Draw your attention to the point between the pubic bone and the navel. And begin to inhale and see that line of the orbit move down across the floor of the pelvis, then up the back of the spine, all the way up through the neck, around to the roof of the mouth, and then exhale, moving it down from the roof of the mouth, down the front body, back to that beginning point. Okay, you're going to continue with that. Keep your tongue connected to the roof of the mouth. Inhale, drop your awareness down. Wrapping that orbit around, up the spine, to the roof of the mouth. Exhale, go from the tip of the tongue, down the front body, back to the navel and pubic bone. Keep going. Keep circulating the energy through the microcosmic orbit. Circulate. Now, if you're able to feel or imagine energy there, and then follow the flow of energy through that microcosmic orbit, circulating energy. Continue on your inhale to follow the flow of energy down the midline of the body from that starting point under the pubic bone to the tailbone, then upward along the spine, the back of the neck to the top of your head, basically to the roof of the mouth. And then exhaling, slowly feeling that circulating energy descend inside the mouth, the face, and the throat, Continue to follow it down the midline of the body, down through the sternum, back to the navel. And if you want to, when you complete an orbit at the end, you can pause. You can start adding a pause. So you inhale, you circulate, exhale, and then pause at the end, holding your awareness for a few moments at that beginning point. And imagine that you are filling the reservoirs of the governing vessel and the conception meridians. Imagine that you are filling yourself up. The lower part of the body, where the pelvis is, that is what's called the lower dantian. It is where we are supposed to hold our energy, our stores, our vital force. So do a couple more rounds, inhaling that circulating energy, exhaling down the front of the body. And again, one more breath, orbiting that energy, circulating it. And then when you're done, open your eyes. Okay, so this is a really great practice for you to get into the habit of doing all the time. The benefits are a healthy, long life. Well, that sounds worth it for me. Okay, let's go on and move into our practice, and we will be using this technique tonight in our practice. Okay.